guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are doing a full face of $1 makeup. So I have all of my products laid out in front of me. If you guys haven't already seen my unboxing video of my haul for all of my ShopMissA products, I will link the video right here for you guys. But without further ado, let's just get on started. So the first thing that I want to do, one disclaimer that I want to make, I didn't get a brow product, so my brows are already on. I used the NYX pencil and a little bit of ABH brow pomade because for whatever reason I did not grab a brow product, or they just didn't have one on the site, or I didn't see one, or whatever. So the first thing that I want to do is I am going to use the AOH Studio makeup removers, and I'm just going to take off the concealer that I have on my face right now because I had a little bit of concealer on and my brows on, and that was all I had for makeup. Oh, and some bronzer. So I just want to take this all off right now and show you guys how these makeup removers work, and if they work, and if they're worth buying, even though they're only $1. So in reality, absolutely everything is worth buying, even if it doesn't work out for you. It's only $1. So I think it is, at least. I like trying new products though. So I'm gonna take all of my makeup that is not my brows off. So this is what the sheet looks like now that I have all of my makeup off. So it does take off makeup, so that's pretty good for $1. I'm not really mad. And using them around my eyes, they don't make my eyes burn like some of the other makeup remover wipes I've tried, so I'm really, really happy about that. And now that my makeup is off, let's move on to doing this look. So the first thing that I want to try is the AOH Studio Perfect Primer. So it looks like this. It looks like a concealer, very similar to the ColourPop concealer in shade, but I want to try it out and see what it's like. I'm also going to be using a beauty blender from the brand, I will link it down below. I don't remember which brand it was from. So now I'm just going to put the AOH Perfect Primer, eyeshadow primer, all over my lids. So it is just a simple doe foot applicator, very similar to the concealer. I've never used an eyeshadow primer before. I really don't know how they're supposed to work. And I find that this one's pretty liquidy. It just kind of goes to like a clear color. It doesn't really add anything to my eye. Whereas when I put the ColourPop concealer one down, it makes my whole eyelid white. Maybe I'm doing it wrong? I don't know. I'm putting the same amount down that I normally would. Alright, I don't really see this doing a whole lot, but so I don't really see that that really added anything. It's more like a clear primer, so that's not really what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go in and use the Wander Cover HD concealer in the shade 2306 Light Yellow. So let's just see if this adds anything to my eyelids. So this is very yellow. I'm not used to this, so I don't know if, holy shit, this is like paint. Oh, I hate the smell of this. Oh my god, that's horrible. Oh, gross. I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you guys can see. This is what it looks like up close, and trying to blend this out. Oh my god. That instantly made my beauty blender yellow, and it dried to like a really cakey kind of gross mess. So we are taking that off instantly. I hate that. Oh my god. Yuck. I don't know what this brand is thinking by releasing that. That was literally like spreading paint all over my eyelids. And I'm not the biggest fan of these wipes. I don't think they really do a whole lot. So I'm gonna use my normal makeup remover and just a clear cotton round and just take this shit off my eyes right now. All right, so now that that's off my face, because that was horrible, I am not going to use that. So I'm going to put a little bit more of the primer back on my eye and just blend it out again, just because we just removed it. I don't find that this primer really does anything for my eye either. So it's just like a clear primer. So now that that's on, I'm gonna go in with the normal ColourPop concealer. Sorry, I think I was out of focus there. So I'm just gonna go in with the normal ColourPop concealer and just conceal my eyelids like normal. I also don't know if I'm a big fan of this sponge. I'm finding that it's soaking up my product a little bit too much into the sponge and less on my eyes. And that's kind of a no-no for me because my Morphe one does not do that. Alright, now that I have both of the ColourPop concealers on, we can move on to trying out some of these eyeshadows. So I wanted to do a look with this Wander Beauty red and this kind of like a blushy orange color. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to use the brushes that I recently got. So I got this blender brush that's really ginormous, and I got this packer brush, which is also very ginormous, and I'm gonna try doing an eye look with these. If these brushes are too big, then I will switch to my normal ones, but for now we can try out these eyeshadows. So this is the Wander Studio Baked Eyeshadow in the shade Saffron, and this is the blush that is like more like an orangey peach color. And then I'm also gonna go into these cranberry shades right here. So they look like this and they are really pretty. So I need some of the transition colors. So I am gonna go in using my very big AOH Studio blender brush, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here. So I'm gonna swatch this one really quickly. So it looks like that, and on my hand, let's swatch it. It's like the same shade as my hand, and then the next shade up. These ones are all pretty much the shade of my hand, so you're really not gonna see them, but they make really nice transition colors. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, and I'm just going to put that all in my crease. So the kick up is about normal for an eyeshadow, and for a $1 eyeshadow, I'm not expecting it to be crazy, or I'm not expecting it to not kick up. I feel like this brush is just way too big. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do an eye look with that. So I'm not exaggerating when I say that these brushes are ridiculous. This is the normal size of a blender brush, and this is how big their blender brushes are. So that is just way too big for me. I'm not a fan of that. They're cute brushes, but they're way too big. So I'm gonna go back into that first transition color shade, and I'm just going to put that all over my crease area. And then I wanna go into this purple shade right here. So I'll swatch it on my hand. It looks like that, if you guys can see it. And on my hand, it's like a really light purple shade, and I'm just gonna also put that into my crease, just to deepen the color a little bit. And I'm also going into a little bit of the middle shade right there, just to add a little bit more pigmentation, because these seem to be very light on pigmentation. Again, $1 for an entire palette. I'm not gonna complain at all. So now that I have that laid down in my crease, just a very subtle color, I'm gonna go in with this shade. So this is the saffron color, and I want to go in with a packer brush and just see how it works with the brush, and then I'm going to also try it with the setting spray. So I'm just coating my brush in that shade, and then I'm just going to put that all over my lid. And it's not showing up. Alright, so I'm going to coat my brush in this shade again, and then I'm going to try the Pro setting spray and see if a wet brush helps bring out the color at all. And not really. All right. So this is not showing up at all on my eyelid. It's showing up extremely patchy and not working at all. So let's try going in with just my finger and laying it down with my finger instead. Still the same. I'm getting a little bit of pigmentation, but it is extremely patchy, and it would be very hard to make an eye look with this stuff. So it looks like that on my finger, so it does show up on the finger, but as for the eyelid, it's really not showing up at all. So that's extremely disappointing. Let's see if we can try to save this look. So I'm gonna try and go into one of these shades instead. So I'm gonna go into this kind of like a gold color right here, and I'm just going to see how that looks on the eye. Nothing. I'm not getting any pigmentation with these colors. All right, let's try the other eye and see if I can get it to work. I'm gonna go in with the same starter transition colors. The mattes show up, so that's nice. Now I'm gonna go back into this color right here, and I'm gonna put that all over my lid and see if that shows up. So it's not showing up with a dry brush, so let's try going in with a wet brush. So that's showing up a little bit more than the other eye did with that other shade. So let's just try and make this work. The only thing that I don't like is this is heavily scented, so it's kind of burning my eye. So I don't think I'm gonna continue using that one for wetting my brush. I think I'm gonna go into the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and see if that helped. So that made the pigment come out a lot more using my Urban Decay Setting Spray rather than using the UHD one. Still, it's coming up extremely patchy and not really the best look. So I am going to take this off and I'm going to try again with maybe a different color. All right, so that didn't work out, so I'm not gonna bother putting the ColourPop concealer on again. I am going to try a different palette. Since that one didn't really seem to work out, I'm gonna try this orange one and see if, actually, you know what? Let's try the purple one and let's see how these ones work out, because the swatches on these ones were really good. So let's just see. If you guys haven't seen the swatches already, I will link the video right here for you guys so you guys can check it out again. So I am gonna go in using this shade right here, which is very similar to my skin tone already. So I'm gonna go in with a transition color, and we're just gonna put that all in the crease. And now I'm gonna go into the lightest purple matte shade in the palette, this lilac color, and I'm just gonna put that all in the crease. And I think I'm gonna mix and match. I'm gonna go into this other palette that I grabbed, which was more of like the smoky palette for smoky eye. And I'm gonna go into some of these colors. So I'm gonna go into this bluey gray color right here, and I'm going to mix that also into the crease. We have like kind of like a lilac crease going on. So now I'm gonna go into, all over the lid, I wanna go into one of these gray colors. So I'm gonna go in with this middle shade gray right here, and I'm going to put that on a packer brush, and I'm gonna put that all over the lid. So the kick up is about normal for an eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to pack that all over my lid. So these are not pigmented at all. I'm finding I'm putting it down and I have like almost no pigmentation showing up. So that's interesting. As I'm blending it into my eyelid, it just seems to be disappearing. And they don't blend well together at all. So I'm very disappointed with these palettes, but I mean, they are only $1, so I can't be that disappointed. But I'm sad that they aren't like my holy grail $1 makeup palettes. But as I'm laying it down, it's not blending out. It kind of looks almost like I just gave myself a black eye rather than it looking pretty. So that's disappointing. Let's try and go into a purple instead. And we're just gonna put this purple right here all over my lid on top of that gray and see if it blends in together. Wow, I'm putting it down and there's literally no pigmentation. What is happening? I literally look like I gave myself a black eye. So these are extremely cheaply made. This just fell off my desk, and that is the strip of glue that they laid down. It comes in a flimsy, kind of like plastic cardboardy thing, and the palettes are just sitting ever so slightly inside, and they're not, it's not even glued down. It's literally, it's like plastic completely. So these shades don't show up at all. They swatch okay, but as for actually on the eye, they aren't showing up, so that's a little bit disappointing. I need to quickly change my battery. So far I am incredibly unimpressed with these shadows. So I am going to take this off, and I may just do a separate eye look again. So let's just do that. All right, so that's off again. So far these palettes that I got, I've tried this one, and this one. The only one I haven't tried is that orange one, are all crap so far, so I don't like them. They have absolutely almost zero pigmentation. When you put them on the eye, they don't blend well together, and it just looks terrible. So that's a bust. So let's move on to trying out, I'm going to grab a different eyeshadow. So I have these shades still to try out. So we tried this red one, and this one didn't work out. So I still have this silver one, and this green one, and this pink one. So let's try out the green and silver ones and see if we can make a look with that. The only thing is I don't have transition color with these because these are all shimmers. So I'm gonna go grab a different palette, one of my normal palettes that I know work. So I'm going to mix in some of the Kathleen Light's Dream Street palette in with this look, just to try and make an actual look work, because I know that these shadows work. So I'm just gonna go in with this shade right here all over my lid. So this is the shade Twinkle, that all in my crease. And now for all over the lid, I'm gonna go in with the shade. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Water Bearer, which is this red one right here. And I'm just going to put that all over my lid. So all over the lid, that's just what we got going on. I think I wanna try the shade Saffron again. So it's this red one, and I'm gonna use the Urban Decay setting spray to see if this one will actually show up now. So I'm just gonna coat my brush in Saffron, and then I'm just going to spray the Urban Decay all over it. And then I'm gonna go with this all over my eyes. You have to heavily pack this saffron shade on and use a really good setting spray, or else it does not show up. So I'm kind of finding that it's a little bit too much work to use these $1 shades. I think I would rather pay a little bit more money and have something that blends out really nicely and is easy to use than something that is very difficult to get on for a color payment that is just barely there. Again, for $1 makeup, my expectations aren't really that high, so it sucks that it's not really working out, but it's still showing up, so at least that's better than nothing. So on the outer corner, I think I want to go in with a dark shade. So considering those palettes that we tried down below, those mattes didn't show up at all, so I'm not even going to bother with them again. I am going to go in with a luxy kind of tapered outer corner brush, and I'm going to go in with the color Elfish, which is this brown color right here, and I'm just going to put that on the outer corner. And just bring it up a little bit just to deepen out this eye look. What I'm finding with these shades is the more that you blend them and the more that you lay colors down over top, the more the pigmentation leaves. So they aren't really buildable, which is kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna try a little bit more of the saffron color and just lay it down just to get some of that shimmer back. I was supposed to be doing my makeup right now to go out to a birthday party event, and I feel like I'm gonna go with no makeup on because this is not working. So the colors really won't blend together that well. I'm struggling really hard here to make the color pigment show up, and it's just kind of being a pain in the ass. But I'm gonna quickly go in and do the other side really quickly and see if I can make it work. All right, so I actually have to leave for this event right now. So I'm just going to quickly take off this makeup and do a normal look with a normal palette and not use $1 makeup for this look. And then I'll come back later on tonight and I will finish off this video with you guys and see if we can make an eye look work with this. Because right now, this looks like shit. So I'm gonna quickly go do that and I'll see you guys in a few hours. All right guys, so this has been a day later, so I am back to try and test out this products and see if they work. Sorry for the random cut in the video where I had to go out last night. I had plans already last night that I was hoping to wear the makeup that we were trying on yesterday to the party, but it turned out that I couldn't get the eyeshadows to work, so I ended up just not wearing makeup last night. So now let's try and make this work again. So this is like the 4th time now I'm gonna be trying to make this eyeshadow work. So hopefully I can make it work today. I want to play with these palettes again and see if we can make them work. So I am gonna go in with, I'm gonna try and make, honestly, this is so frustrating. I'm gonna try and make this gold one work and see if we can make a look with it, and if not, then I'm just gonna give up altogether on the eyeshadows from this brand because so far well, you guys saw, they haven't been working. So I'm gonna go in using a blender brush and I'm gonna go in with this shade right here and I'm gonna put that all in my crease to see if that's gonna show up or not. That's a pretty transition color. It is showing up. And then all over the lid, let's go in with this orange color right here, the center one, and let's put that. They're almost like showing up on my skin tone as the same color, which is kind of interesting because they're very different in the pan. But at least these colors are actually showing up, sort of. They're not as vibrant as I'm used to with eyeshadows, but again, this is $1 makeup. I'm not really expecting a whole lot. So that's just soft blown out orange all over the eye. Then on the outer corner, I'm gonna try and go in with this darkish kind of brown color and see if we can make that one show up. So again, not overly pigmented or anything. And they kind of, is it the shades that smell or is it my brush? They have a scent and I don't like the scent. They smell like perfume and I just don't understand why companies feel the need to put scents in eyeshadows. It's just weird. It smells weird. I think that's probably as good as we're gonna get for the outer corner. So let's just try and put a little bit more pigmentation on the actual lid and a little bit in the crease. Now this is where I want to see if I can get the shimmers to show up. So the shimmer that's in this palette is this golden right here and this kind of rose one right here. So on my hands, they look like this and they do swatch fine. They do swatch really nicely and they're really shimmery and they look like they would be nice. So I'm hoping these ones actually show up. So let's go in with the packer side of my brush and let's go in with that rose kind of color, like that silver gold one. I'm just gonna pack my brush and then I'm gonna use the Urban Decay setting spray and let's just see if we can get this to show up today. So this one's showing up. That's interesting. This is the most I've ever gotten their shimmers to show up. Yesterday I was trying for like an hour and I couldn't get anything to work. This is actually showing up. That's insane. I'm so impressed. All right, so we finally got a shimmer on the eyelid. It's not like the most revolutionary shimmer, but it's there. So I'm just gonna blend in the crease. And there is a black in this palette and I wanna see how it works. So I'm gonna swatch it on my hand. So that's what it looks like on my finger, and on my hand it looks like that. So it does look like it should show up okay. So let's go in with that crease brush again, the tapered one, and just see if we can get the black to show up. This one has pigmentation. Now let's go back in with the transition color and just blend those colors together and see if they blend. I feel like the more that you're blending these colors together, the more that they disappear. So you're not really going to get a pretty eye look with these colors. At least for me, I'm not. I feel like that just kind of ruined it. The black isn't really black, it kind of went gray, and it's not blending very well, and it's just kind of removing the other colors. So let's go and put that shimmer back on the lid. So now I want to try and go in with this blush that it was supposed to be a blush, but it kind of looks a little bit too orangey to be a blush for me. So I'm going to go in with my packer brush, and I'm going to wet it and see what it looks like over top of that rose kind of silver color. I'm not certain it's really going on. It's really adding much of a color, but I think it's turning the silver a little bit pinkish. But nothing really that crazy. Okay, I think that's as good as I'm gonna get for an eye look today with this palette. I think the verdict for these palettes they're kind of crappy. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to be amazing because they were only $1, but as for these palettes, I'm gonna say, unless you want to give yourself a headache, I would probably pass on these just because they're really kind of crappy. But whatever. So that's the eyeshadows. Let's just move on because we've wasted so much time on the eyeshadows that I really just don't even care anymore. It's just a waste of time to continue trying to make this work. So I'm gonna probably just wipe this off because it doesn't even look good. It is barely showing up on my eyelid. It's just not really working. So I'm just gonna wipe it off and we can try out the foundation and see if the foundation works. I don't have an actual primer for my face, so I'm just gonna see what this makeup looks like without a primer. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of the foundation on my hand and use their blender that I have, and I'm just going to bounce it all over my face and see what it looks like. But you need to use quite a bit because their sponge soaks up quite a bit of the foundation, which I don't like. And I'm finding that this is extremely light coverage. It's not covering my spots at all. So I'm curious to know how much of this foundation I'm actually going to need to use to get a decent coverage. So that is one layer of the foundation all over my face, and it doesn't look like I really have foundation on. It didn't cover any of my breakouts. Everything's still shown, and it literally looks like I just kind of rubbed cream all over my face. I'm gonna try and use my regular beauty blender and to see if I can get a better result using a Morphe sponge, because this sponge seems to soak up a lot of the product. So I'm gonna quickly go wet this one. So let's just do one more layer and see if this is buildable at all. So after using the Morphe sponge, I find that I'm getting a little bit more of a better coverage. It's going on a little bit nicer, and it's not too bad of a foundation. For $1, I'm not really going to complain, but it is not a full coverage foundation. It is definitely a light foundation. It kind of reminds me of like a CC cream or a BB cream. It's just not full coverage at all. So now, as you guys saw, I tried using the concealer yesterday from this brand and it was absolutely terrible. So I'm going to go in just using my normal ColourPop concealer and just conceal some of my spots really quickly. And then I'm just going to go in with my Morphe sponge and just blend it out. So now that I have the concealer and the foundation on, we can go in and try the setting powder. So this is the Perfect Studio Finishing Pressed Powder. So this looks like this. It's just a translucent powder. I'm going to go in using a powder brush and just see, this is the amount of kick up that's coming off of it. It's about normal for a powder. I'm just going to set my face. This also has a scent. It smells kind of just like makeup, not like a strong scent. It doesn't have a perfumey scent or anything. That's a decent powder. I don't know how it's going to look for flashback, so let's try. No, there wasn't really any flashback, so it's a decent powder for $1. That is pretty sweet. So now we can try, what do we want to try? We can try their bronzer. So this is the Amuse Matte Bronzer. So this is the bronzer right here. It's like a sand color. It's pretty, and you almost can't even see it on my hand just because it is so light. So I'm just going to put this on my contour and my chin. So I feel like you would need to be extremely fair to make this bronzer work. It's way too light for my skin tone and it's barely showing up. So I probably wouldn't really gravitate to this bronzer just because that's how much it is showing up on my skin. Like, it's barely showing up. I have to constantly keep building it to get any type of pigmentation on my skin. So it's not really the best bronzer for me in particular. So for people with a little bit more of a darker complexion, this may be way too light for your skin tone. For me, I have really pale skin and it just kind of gave me a little bit of a bronzed look. It's not even really dark enough for me. I personally like more of a stronger contour, and this just kind of gives you like a little bit of a bronzed kind of look, almost like a sun-kissed kind of skin. So if you're looking for a really, really light bronzer, this might be really good for you. I personally think it's okay just for like a no makeup kind of look, but it's not something that I would go to for an everyday bronzed kind of look. So that's just my opinion. So it's been about an hour since I've had this foundation on because I went and got a coffee with my boyfriend, and it's not bad. It's not a bad foundation. It is, it's not full coverage. I'm finding that my breakout right here is peeking through a little bit more. It does sink into my smile lines and my forehead lines, and it's just overall not really a full coverage foundation. It's more of like a foundation I would throw on if I was doing a no makeup kind of thing. It's not really a foundation that I would go to for like a glam look at all. So I would say this foundation is okay. It's good for the price point, but another thing I really don't like about it is I don't like the scent. It's really florally and really strong, and it's been on for about an hour and I can still smell it. So I'm not that big of a fan of that, and this beauty blender is horrible. I don't like this. I would much rather use a Morphe one versus this one. This is only $1, so it's good to compare, but this one is definitely my favorite. So that's the foundation side of things. So now I want to go in and I want to try this this blush. So this is a really intense blush, and I may end up using it for an eyeshadow rather than a blush, but I do want to try it out and see if it looks absolutely terrible or not. I'm just going to, oh yeah, that's horrible. Look how fucking bright that is. And that is just like the tiniest bit of blush. Oh my god. That's horrible. Don't put this on your face. That side's a little bit better. It's more like a kind of like a blush kind of thing, but that's horrible. Ugh, gross. I need to remove that right now. See, but I knew when I was buying this blush that I wasn't gonna use it as a blush. I wanted to buy it just because it was bright red and I thought that was hilarious. So I'm removing the blush on that side. It's okay on this side, it's just kind of like a very, very light rose blush on that side, but this side was absolutely horrible. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my foundation and I'm just going to try and fix my cheek area that I just removed all my makeup from. So that's absolutely hilarious. Thankfully it was just like this little area, so that's okay. Even this side, like, I'm toning it down because I don't like that much blush on my cheek. So if you really like bright blushes like this, then this might be a really great blush for you, but for me personally, that looks like a clown and I would never wear that. So I will probably use this as an eyeshadow. So at least I have a bright red eyeshadow I can use now. Let's just go in and put a little bit more of so we've tried out the blush, the bronzer, the foundation, the eyeshadow, even though we couldn't get the eyeshadow to work. So I'm not gonna try out the lashes because I obviously don't have an eye look on today. And I didn't grab a brow product from this, so I'm just using the ABH and NYX brow products that I have on right now. So the last things that I have to try is, I'm also not gonna try out the liner today because I don't have an eye look on. And I do want to try out the mascara though, because I'm not going to try the falsies, so I'm going to open up this mascara and see how it works. So this is the brand LA Colors and it's a lash building mascara. It looks like this and the wand looks like that. So I'm just going to quickly throw on a little bit of mascara and see. It's getting all over my eyelid, which is really annoying, and I'm using the wand exactly how I would use any other wand, so I'm not too sure why it's getting all over my lid, but I'll fix that in a minute. So that's with one coat of mascara on. As for a lash building mascara, if you need to use crazy amounts of mascara just to get a normal eye look, then I'm going to say that this mascara is terrible. This is one coat of the mascara and I'm going to say already that I think it's kind of crappy. It didn't really lengthen my lashes that much and it kind of just smeared all over my eyelid and underneath my waterline. I don't really think it's a very good mascara. So it's kind of just getting all over my eyes and not really making that much of a difference. I will put the other side on and see if the finished look is better. So for a $1 mascara, I would say that this is not terrible. It's a very natural kind of looking lashes. It's not going to give you crazy voluminous lashes or crazy long lashes. It just kind of gave you like a coat for your lashes. I don't like that it got all over my eyelid, but it wiped off really easily, so that's at least a plus. I think it's an okay mascara. I probably wouldn't reach for it, but for $1 it's not terrible. So now the next thing that I want to try out is this extra large long lasting shadow stick. So I think when I purchased this on the website I thought it was an eyeliner, so I'm going to see how it looks in the waterline, if it actually shows up or not. So because it's like a charcoal gray, it's not like a black in the waterline, so that kind of looks a little bit weird, but it is showing up in the waterline. So now I have a charcoal gray one to go with my giant white one from NYX, so at least that looks okay for $1. I'm not mad at that. I think I would prefer it to be black, but whatever, it was $1. No big deal. So the last thing that I want to try out is, so I have two different highlights here. I have the baked highlighter and I have the eyeshadow. So they're basically the same color. I think they just have a little bit of an undertone that's a little bit different. So the highlight looks like this, and on my finger it looks like that. And the eyeshadow looks like Looks like that. So they're pretty intense. I'm really excited for both of them actually, but I think that the eyeshadow one is a little bit more intense. So I'm gonna try both of them, but I'm gonna see which one I like more. So I'm going to try these out without using an oil for once and see what they look like. So I'm gonna go in using a tapered, oh my god. Actually no, I have a highlight brush from this brand. So I'm gonna go in using the AOH Studios highlight brush, so this is their fan brush, and I'm gonna go in with the highlighter side. So I'm not really seeing a whole lot. I used it yesterday and I saw it, but maybe that was just the lighting. So it is showing up a little bit, but not like a whole lot, not really blinding. So I'm just gonna put it on both sides. So that's with the fan brush. So I'm gonna go in using a tapered highlighting brush and see if that makes a difference. Highlight, it is more of like a subtle highlight than I'm used to for a white highlight. For white highlights, I'm used to the Jeffree Star highlight, which is extremely blinding. So this is more like a subtle white. So this might be good for somebody that isn't wanting like an over-the-top in-your-face highlight. But I'm gonna try and go in with the white eyeshadow and see what this one looks like over top. So this one's a little bit more intense. So I'm finding I'm getting like that really, really intense highlight look without even using an oil with the eyeshadow. So if you're looking for a really pretty highlight, I would get the Wander Baked eyeshadow in the shade Dove as a highlight because it actually is really gorgeous and I really didn't even need an oil. So I'm just gonna put that on all of my high points. And I think that's actually really gorgeous. Forehead lines are really obnoxious right now with this foundation. I don't like it. But I think this highlight is actually really pretty. This is probably my favorite thing that I purchased in this entire kind of try on video right now because everything else has been either okay or not worked at all. Whereas this eyeshadow that is supposed to be an eyeshadow is actually really gorgeous. So for $1, I'm really excited about that. So the last thing that I want to try is a lipstick. So I have 3 different lipsticks here that I got and they are the brand Muse. So I have a berry, I have a red, and I have a brown. So because my makeup look is so minimal right now, I just have some mascara, eyeliner, and just the normal foundation on. I think I'm gonna try the berry one. So this is the shade, it doesn't say, it's just a berry lipstick by the brand Muse. So it smells like dollar store makeup, so that's interesting. So this is the shade, doesn't say, this is just the berry shade that I picked up, but it is a really pretty shade. So I'm not mad at the shade, I just don't think it's gonna be long lasting. So now that it is fully dried down, I wanna do a kiss test and see what it looks like. So it doesn't actually come off. So now that it's dry, it probably won't smear. For $1, I'm pretty impressed with this lip shade. It is really pretty. I did a really crappy application of it, but it looks pretty decent. So far, everything in this kind of haul bundle that I picked up today hasn't been too terrible. I really like the foundation for a no makeup kind of makeup look. I don't think it's really great if you're looking for a full coverage foundation, but the packaging was really cute and it does look pretty nice. It doesn't look cakey. It's just the only issue I have with it is it's not full coverage, so my breakouts are still coming through. So that is kind of like a downer for this kind of foundation, but it is only $1, so it's not that big of a deal. The blush that I tried is that bright red one. Is absolutely terrible for a blush. I would never ever use this color personally for me as a blush, but I would use it for an eyeshadow, so I will use that in the future. The bronzer was nice. It gives you like a sun-kissed kind of look, but it is a little bit too light for my skin tone, so that is just me personally. I did like the highlight. I found that the highlight wasn't actually as blinding as the eyeshadow, so the white eyeshadow in the color Dove is actually the better choice for a highlight for me personally. I liked the Perfect Finish pressed powder. I didn't find that it made any of my makeup have a flashback or anything. It didn't take any of my makeup off, so it looks really nice. I don't like the setting spray. I think the setting spray smells horrible, and it when I was trying to use it for my eyeshadow and applying the shimmers, it wasn't working, so I ended up using my Urban Decay one and it worked a lot better and it doesn't have a horrible scent. The mascara is okay if you don't really like to use a lot of mascara and you're not looking for voluminous or really thick lashes, then this is an okay mascara. The concealer was an absolute joke. It was the shade light yellow and it was absolutely horrible. In the tube, it looks like it would be a perfect match for an actual concealer, but on the application, it's terrible and it looked like I smeared crap all over my eyes, so I will never ever use this again. I didn't really see a point in the primer. The eye primer didn't do anything for my eyes when I was trying out the eyeshadows. The eyeshadows are absolutely terrible. I am so disappointed with those ones, but at the same time, it's only $1, so I can't really be that disappointed, but they were pretty bad. They didn't show up, the pigments were terrible. The swatches were really nice, which was surprising, but actual use on my eyelid, I was getting either no pigmentation at all or these shimmers were coming on really patchy, even with using my Urban Decay setting spray, so that's a bummer. I didn't get a chance to use my premium lashes because I didn't do an eye look today, so I will use these in the future. They are extremely long and I'm assuming I'm gonna have to cut them because they're a little bit ridiculous. But that was everything that I tried out today. Oh, and this brush was really nice. I just didn't like these brushes. I found these brushes were way too big for eye looks, so that was everything that was in this kind of try-on haul for $1 makeup, so you guys can be the judge if you think $1 makeup is worth it. I personally think it's pretty bad. The majority of the $1 makeup is not good, so that's just kind of how it worked for me. It may work amazing for you guys, but for me in particular, I think $1 makeup is a joke, and that's hilarious that it didn't work out. I mean, I wasn't really expecting it to work out, so I'm not mad at all. I think it's hilarious. I just really wanted to try for myself because a lot of people were ranting and raving online about how amazing this makeup store was to get $1 makeup. I think it's hilarious that people think it's amazing because I personally couldn't make the eyeshadows work, but I mean, maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'll have to play with these products again and see if I can make them work, but everything else was pretty okay. So I would say in like a star rating, I would give this like a 2.5 out of 5. It was like 50-50. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but for $1, it's pretty good. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys at my next video. Bye!